know how, but the video of the mother telling the children to claim that their father had abused them, sexually of course, made its way to social media. We don't know who was recording, but eventually the police confirmed that she was lying and they arrested her. So well done, Nigeria Police Force. But that again opens another door. Lots of questions. What will be the fate of this woman? Many on social media have suggested the worst imaginable. But of course, we have to speak to a legal practitioner who knows the law to tell us what's the way forward. And our guest, I have burdened her. This is the second time this week we're having conversations of a related nature. Is Omowunmi Komolafe, the Secretary of African Women Lawyers Association, AWLA, River State Chapter. Omowunmi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
At this point, if you send an invoice, I will not blame you. Okay, so for false accusation, is there a legal term? You know, when we say, when the word defilement is used, everybody understands that it's very likely inappropriate relation with a minor. But when somebody accuses another person falsely, particularly of rape and defilement, does the law have a term for that? Hello?
Yes, hello to Sam.
Yeah, did you get a question?
I did not. I think the network went weak.
Oh, apologies for that.
Quachi at that point.
Okay, so I was asking if there's a legal term for false accusation, especially related to accusations of rape or defilement. Does the law have a special term for it?
Okay. There is actually no legal terminology for false accusation as relating to rape, right? That was your question, right?
Yeah.
Yes, under the Nigerian law.
Okay. So are there laws in Nigeria that specifically address that kind of false accusation?
Yes, there are laws in Nigeria, and basically the legal terminology could fall under a defamation, criminal defamation, civil defamation, and I think we have false accusation, sometimes relating to malicious prosecution or thereabouts. So basically, that's just it.
Okay, now the reason why I asked the question the way I did was the woman who has been arrested, if she's charged with defamation, it feels like it's not heavy enough. If I hear defamation, right, I don't think about somebody who falsely accused a person of rape. I just think, okay, you maligned someone's character, right? So I don't know if I'm overthinking it or I'm thinking from a social perspective. Defamation doesn't seem like it explains the weight of the offense.
Basically, when we say defamation, it's anything, or a defamatory matter, it's anything likely to injure a person's reputation, exposing them to contempt, ridicule, or damage, you understand, in their profession, or trade. But we'll find also under our criminal laws. You understand? I think basically under the Admission of Criminal Justice Law, not River State, it actually provides, you understand, for defamation. And I think the Criminal Code Law too defines for defamatory matter.
Okay.
Yes, and they also prescribe punishment for such.
Okay. So, what are the likely consequences? What kind of penalties can this woman face?
Penalties. Okay, when we talk about penalties, I think under the criminal code, we have 1 year, it's 1 year, yes, under the criminal code.
1 year.
Yes, under the criminal code. And we also have under the VAP Act, which also prescribes, which also prescribes punishment.
Okay.
For this kind of offenses.
Okay.
And yes, and basically, I would also like to say that talking about defamation, talking about giving false information, and then looking also under the that's something I think we call it using children to commit a crime.
Okay.
You understand? So under the Child Rights Act, because from the story, from the story that we have, to actually use the children and she coached them to lie against their father.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're looking also at the civil action, the civil aspect, the criminal aspect. These are what we'll be looking at. And then restitution, damages, restitution under the ACJA. We have the man could also file for damages under civil action for slander.
Okay, so to a large extent, it depends on what the man files. Now, let me ask, because I'm certain that you will have a straightforward answer to this question. If that man were found guilty of what he was accused of, defiling his own kids, what would the penalty have been?
Now, that's life imprisonment.
Okay.
Yes, it's defilement, it's life imprisonment.
Okay. So there are some people that argue that the false accuser should face the same prison sentence that the accused would have faced if they were found guilty. Do you see any sense in that?
Okay, as to that, there is a provision, of the law that actually says that for someone who has made a false accusation, the penalties will depend on the seriousness of the alleged crime itself. So now, for the woman in this case who has wrongly
accuse her husband,
lied against her husband, arraigning him and accusing the husband of defiling the children, you understand, the punishment or penalty for that alleged crime is life imprisonment. So under the criminal code, yes, penalties depend on the seriousness of the alleged crime. So she could actually be going in for
life.
Yes. Although under the VAP Act, we have for someone making a false accusation, we have 12 months, a 12 month jail term, or 200,000 naira fine, or even both. Yes, but going for a 12 month jail term and payment of that fine at the same time. But under the ACJ, I think the ACJ talks about compensation as a remedy. The court may order that this woman pay a particular sum to her husband who was falsely accused. Now, whether she will be able to pay that sum, which is actually at the discretion of the magistrate or the judge, as the case may be, if she was unable to make that payment, then the court may convert it into an imprisonment.
Well, I can't speak for or against the court, but I think that does not sound like justice, in my personal opinion. Now, let me ask, in your experience and to the stretch of your legal expertise and the cases you've covered, how common are false accusations of this kind? How frequently does it happen?
It's not so common, and says maybe the man even call. I think in this particular case, she did not even claim him her boyfriend, and alleged that he tried to rape her. So initially,
And when she was about to play,
You find that some of these matters are actually settled out of court.
Mommy, I don't want to play the gender card, and I used this line the last time we spoke, but is it possible that you see a pattern of women getting off the hook easier in these kinds of situations?
Well, I would not say so. What I have said, now before a matter is settled out of course, there's a consensus agreement between parties. So, meaning that both the person, the person who was accused wrongly and the person who was accused have both come to terms.
Okay, my final question. Do you think there's need for any kind of amendment to better reflect better sanctions, penalties, and punishment for these particular kinds of cases?
Well, what I would say, the woman in question has not done well. So it's not up to gender or anything. Now, because I have said something, I did say that, there's something very peculiar here. Using the children to commit a crime. And this is actually an offense under the Child Rights Act 2003. You understand? So I'll be advocating that, when we have such instances that occur, there should be a kind of harmonization of the laws. The VAT Act is saying something else, the criminal code is saying something, the ACJ is saying something else. You understand? So if these laws, you understand, are better harmonized, I think it will also help better to avoid, such kind of, instances actually happening. And under the more particularly, because she has used her children. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, coaching them to actually lie. Now, if the son, from story, I read, did not, come out to say that, oh, this is not true. This is what, this is actually what transpired. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
She would have got away with it. So I believe that if they have other issues amongst themselves, it is not this, way and method that, but I believe that maybe she's trying to, get a payback. So maybe the man has done something to her, but it's not this way. So I believe, we actually had a matter, that was decided. I think the case of something and COP was the 2018 case. Was raised Vietnam or something like that. That's a COP, whereby someone of a false accusation was also made, and the person was charged to court. And I believe, yes, in that particular case, the court did convict, one of the accused persons.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
So basically, if she is taking, she's been arraigned, and then if the matter is taken to its logical conclusion, if there is proof of evidence, the court could actually find that she has done that, and the law will take its course.
Thank you, Omowunmi, for giving us your time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much.
After the break, we talk. Stay with us. 2.3 Nigeria Info, Sam Oracle Chinedu. A devastating development. Well, not devastating because the man has been exonerated. But the Enugu State Police Command officially confirmed the arraignment of a woman who accused her husband of defiling and raping their 2 daughters. According to a statement by the State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Daniel Ndukwe, on Thursday, the woman, Mrs. Chisom Okonkwo, had reported the matter to the police, but could not prove her allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Ndukwe explained that during the police investigation, the couple's elderly child, in a written statement with video evidence, told the police that their father never committed the offense he was accused of, and that their mother had coached them to lie against their father. The Enugu State Police Command on October 25 received a complaint from Okonkwo Chisom, age 29, lodged at the command's MNA Police Division, alleging that her husband, Okonkwo Ozioma, had been defiling their 2 daughters, aged 5 and 3, and threatening to kill her if she disclosed it. However, investigations revealed the allegations were false and misleading. It revealed that contrary to her claims, the period in 2024 and 2025 during which she claimed the offenses occurred were the same time she had traveled alone with the kids to their hometown in Imo State. Once again, kudos to these police officers. When I saw it on social media, I read extensively about it, and like I said, it was the insistence of the officers to thoroughly investigate because some things did not add up. And I say that because we've seen many cases where a simple allegation against someone, the police just treats it like that, and quickly locks the person up. But for some reason, they were particular about getting to the bottom of this. And if you saw it on social media, there was this disturbing video of the husband in cuffs, right? There was just something about the man's disposition that felt he wasn't guilty. But again, you can't always tell, right? But there was just something. Something just felt off. And I don't get it, right? Again, like I said, while my guest was on the phone, I don't want this to be a gender war. I don't want the statements I'm about to make to seem like I'm attacking women. But how is falsely accusing a person, to whatever degree they have hurt you, whatever it is, how does lying against them of either raping you or defiling how? We're not just talking about payback. It's not just that somebody hurt me, I want to hurt them. It is that you are destroying a person's life. I mean, it's one of the many times they say, "Oh, Sam, don't get emotional." But how can somebody not get emotional? And so when the lawyer said, it's possible 12 months, 1 year in prison, that's not enough. That can never be enough. If the police did not insist on this case, this man would be in prison for the rest of his life. Simply because you want to pay back. We've heard stories. I've seen a few posts on Twitter, particularly, where one girl just came out and claimed that a guy raped her. And when the person is discovered, you just believe that sorry is enough. How do you conceive that? Of all the ways you want to make a person pay, how is it that one of the options that pop in your head is let me falsely accuse him? Why? Because society almost always believes the woman's side. And your conscience doesn't at some point kick in to say, no, come on now. This might just be extreme. You numb the conscience, say, come on, will you shut up there? And go ahead with it. Besides even how diabolical it is, the greater damage is that tomorrow, a lady who has actually been abused will come out and say, hey, this person abused me. And guess what people will say? They don't start again. You make it difficult for the actual survivors to share their story. I mean, the plan was not to rant, but I don't understand. This conscience all of us have, is it that you did not grab your copy? How? My dear, we need to amend the constitution, no? Because this one that is not defamation, there has to be an amendment. No, we can't continue like this. We cannot continue like this. No way. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. Greetings, Sam. When I watched the video last week, my mind told me that the young man was innocent of the accusation. Sam, marriage don't end though. From thank God. Marriage had ended since now, thank God. You know what I'm saying now? From when she alleged, from the minute she accused him and he was arrested, the marriage had already ended. It's not, we're not talking marriage now. Marriage cannot, you can't be thinking marriage. That one, oh my goodness. JJ from Rumigbo.
Sam, good evening.
Good evening.
Sam, I don't know what you call ranting, but I think you are just thinking out loud. Sam, I think they should add to the charges, because the charges that the president of which organization that you called does not include teaching children to lie dangerous lies. I think there should be somewhere in the Constitution that they must bring it in through the Child Rights Act, because we have to also use that, right? Then, what about tomorrow, like you talked about, and these children maybe have this re-rape, right? And they accuse the person of, say, the person raped them. And people will now come and say, oh, your mother don't tell you to sing another album or release another album. Who will believe them?
Yeah.
So for me, I think my own thinking, if the man would have gone for life imprisonment, this woman that would have caused this man, because nobody would have believed this man, if not for the new evidence that has come up and everything, should go for half-life imprisonment. I don't know if you understand me. Because conspiracy to lie, teaching children how to lie, and all those whole things together should be put together. It's too small for 1 year so that we can learn some lesson, for goodness sake. That woman didn't try for 1 second. No matter what this man has done to this woman, the man should go and spend life imprisonment for what he didn't know anything about. No. I think we need to amend to make sure that this woman gets a better punishment to serve as a deterrent to others. Don't know how many people are in the prison now for such incidents.
Yeah.
Sam, what do I know? Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, JJ. And that's a fact. It's also a real fear. How many people could possibly be in prison because they were falsely accused? Douglas calls from GRA. Good evening, Douglas.
Yeah, good evening, Sam.
Good evening.
I really wish your guest was still there. I have a question. I would have loved to know if this type of case is somehow statute bar. Like, how long can this case be, or such allegation be, if you do not file the case for it to be statute bar? I don't know if you get the point.
Yeah, I do.
That's where you are falsely accused and the case was not proven, and then you are now to sue for false allegation. How long can that stay if you don't, for it to be statute bar? Then tell me, I don't know, because I feel somehow that this sort of behavior by this woman is all somehow encouraged by the way society or the government or their policy tilt this thing to the advantage of the woman. Because, for instance, if you hear domestic violence, you're automatically thinking that it is the woman that is the victim.
Yeah.
Because that is how the society has said it. If they are, for instance, such allegation to be accusation of domestic violence or accusation of marital problem, instead of just violence, because when you say violence, it is always about the upper hand, those who have the upper hand. And ordinarily, you know that the man should have upper hand against the woman.
Yeah.
And I believe this thing happens because they see that they are somehow favored by that allegation. Immediately any issue comes up, they will go for this type of allegation that they have advantage of. I'm saying because I've been a victim, was falsely accused. Now to prove that thing or to make that allegation believable, the only motive or only alibi to that was that I do drugs because it was that. If this person falsely, if you are accusing this person of violence, what motivated him for that violence? So there was no other motive. It was just that, okay, I do drugs. So because of that drug, I now violated her. Are you getting the point?
Yeah.
But me and this accuser know that I don't even smoke, I don't take alcohol, I don't even know the color of drug. Just for this allegation to have weight, she had to say this even before a judge. You see? So now I'm interested in this to know how long it might take if this thing is not filed for it to be statute back. If you can try in any way, you can call the.
Oh my. Okay, apologies for that. I'm supposed to have a conversation right about now. Chief Braid calls from GRA. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening. How are you?
Evening.
Yes, my take on this issue is that the law does not